Hi, my name is Ian Chase, and I work for the City of Concord, New Hampshire. I'm the city's water conservation technician and a treatment plant operator. And today we're going to talk about your water footprint. So to better understand your water footprint, let's go to the basics. Let's talk about the hydrological cycle. And the first part of that is precipitation, whether it be rain or, as we saw recently, all that snow we got. Now, precipitation is going to fall either directly onto the body of water itself, be a pond, lake, river, or stream, or it's going to fall on surrounding soil and ground, where it can either be absorbed by the soil, or it can actually run off from the soil into the water. From there, we're going to have evaporation. That just means the body of water is going to lose some moisture to the air. At the same time, we're going to have transpiration, which is just another way of saying photosynthesis. And as photosynthesis is happening and releasing oxygen to the air, it's also giving some moisture off to the air as well, where we are going to get some condensation, which is just that moisture collects, creates clouds, and then we can get back to precipitation and restart the cycle. So now let's talk about how water is distributed across the earth. So this jar represents all of the water on Earth. And as you can tell, the vast majority are these dark blue marbles. Well, that represents salt water. It's what we can't use. That's 97% of all of our water on Earth. The last 3% are those big clear marbles. That's our fresh water. That's what we can tap into. That's only 3% of all water on Earth. So let's take a closer look at that 3% fresh water. And that's what this jar represents right here. At the bottom, you have this light green layer of marbles, which is our glacial ice. That just means there's more water we can't use. But at the top, you have these dark blue marbles and these bigger clear marbles within them as well. That represents our groundwater and our surface water. And that's about a third of this jar. So that means of that 3%, we have 1% of usable water on Earth to us. And that's where the importance of how you use water and your water footprint comes in. So the final piece of understanding on how we use water is to understand the difference between blue water, green water, and gray water. Blue water is simply the water we use every day to drink. Green water is the water used by vegetation that's trapped in the soil. And gray water is polluted water. So now that we know where water is and why it's important, let's look into how we use it. And that's one of two ways. The first way is called direct use, and that would be drinking the water in this bottle. The second way is an indirect use, which is the water used in the process to create the bottle this water is sitting in. Can you tell by looking at these pictures which are direct or indirect water use? Taking a shower, a plate of food, clothes, a dog drinking water, doing the dishes, a laptop. Take a moment to pause this video. I'll give you a hint. 3 are direct and 3 are indirect. So you might be watching this on a laptop right now, and that's a great example of indirect water use. Now to make that one laptop, on average, will take 333 liters. But how many gallons is that? Well, we can figure that out by doing a conversion and taking something we know. And that is that 1 liter is 0.264 gallons. And we can represent that right here with this water. On the left, we have a full gallon of water. And on the right, you can tell by this line that that is 1 liter, which is 0.264 gallons. So if we take our 333 liters and multiply it by 0.264, we can figure out how many gallons we have. And when you do the math out, it comes out to be 88 gallons. Now go ahead and take a second, pause this video. We provided for you a few examples. Go ahead and try those now. So now that we know a little bit more about indirect and direct water usage, we can see that everything we do during the day contributes to our water footprint. The US EPA has said on average the American uses 333 liters of water a day, which we now know is 88 gallons a day. But that's only 3%, that's our direct usage. The rest of our day is indirect. That's a lot of water. But how much water do you think you really use in a day? Well, for fun, you can go to watercalculator.org to figure that out. And I've already done that. Let's see what happened. So we can actually see that I use 1,453 gallons a day. That actually puts me under the US average. Makes me feel pretty good. If we take a further look into it, we can see that those percentages hold up. Most of my usage is in virtual or indirect water use. And even though I'm below average, I'd still like to find ways to do more. So what can I do? Well, one thing I know I can do is I can not leave the water running as long when I'm doing dishes. Even those couple of gallons could really help out in the long run. And I've actually already started changing my afternoon routine. Instead of buying a coffee on the way home, I just reuse coffee from the morning. How does that help? And for fun, form a hypothesis. Do you use more than average a day, the average a day, or less than average? So now that you know your water footprint, let's talk about why it's so important. In front of us, we have some crackers. This pile is going to represent our global water supply. This is what we have to use every day. This is our recharge pile. All that is what the hydrological cycle can put back into the system for us to use. Now, that's going to be a fixed amount. For this example, we're going to say 2. Now, if we just take 2 out, there's no difference. Our input and output's the same. But we know that's not true. Let's say we're probably closer to taking out 4. At first glance, it still doesn't look like we're taking out a lot. But as that continues, it's going to eventually deplete what we have. And our supply, or our demand, is only going up. So we're going to be taking out more and more as we're still putting in only 2. And over time, this is going to create a strain, and we're not going to have enough water to use in our day-to-day lives. So this is all at the heart of water conservation. Please be mindful of your usage, respect our resources, and respect our planet. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you learned something about your water footprint.